Okay. Hey, it's Haley. I I don't know. I'm bad at intros, but everyone has like an intro. Okay, so anyway, thank you for coming back to check out another video. Glad to have you. I am doing like this series, I guess. A lot of people are doing this kind of thing too, where it's like makeup on the chopping block. And so I just had like my episode 1 follow up where like I made decisions on those products. But in that video I said like, oh, you know, my eyeshadow palette collection I've really like curated that. Like every palette that I have now is like something that I absolutely enjoy and want to keep and yada yada yada. That kind of spoke a little too soon, I think. So I've like done some other videos between like that and now, and it's really kind of been eye-opening to that my eyeshadow palette collection is not where I want it to be. So we have some palettes to talk about today. So the first one being, if you saw my eyeshadow palette tag video, then this will be familiar to you, but I put this in there as a palette that I would get rid of. So it's not that it's bad, it's also the Rimmel London, the like nude edition. So it's not a bad palette. Like the colors in here are really nice. They perform nicely, at least like the ones that I've played with. But like I said in that video, I would get rid of it because I own now the Urban Decay Naked palette. And when they're side by side like that, like there's just no denying that how similar they are. So there is no point in me keeping this Rimmel London palette when I have the Naked palette. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. I would much rather have this one and keep this one and love this one and pass this one on to someone else. So this palette will no longer be in my collection. Then we have this palette. So again, there's like a reason why I'm not keeping this. It's the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe Vault collection. It's the Armed and Gorgeous palette. And I really do like this. It's got a lot of like nice yellow, orangey tones. It's really pretty. Yellow is one of like my favorite eyeshadow shades. So I bought this because hello, it's just like a nice yellow palette. I don't find myself reaching for it though, simply because within my collection, I have a build your own palette that I did from ColourPop, and now some of the shades in there are from the Yes Please palette, but the 6 bigger pans are like things, like singles that I ordered, cat hair, that I ordered off of their website. So when I look at this is like my perfect yellow kind of palette. And if you compare them, they're not exactly the same, obviously, but when you look at them like side by side, like I just don't find a need for both of these in my collection, and I'm much more likely to reach for this one. I remember this one far often. This one gets like shoved around and put in the back of drawers, and I forget that I have it a lot of times. Also too with it, not every shade in here is terrible, but not every shade is good. Like that green shade, Top Secret right there at the top, it's kind of patchy. It doesn't perform well. And really the only reason I would keep it is for Guilt Trip and Coin right here. But again, I probably have those shades or something similar within my collection. So I would rather pass this on before it gets too old to someone who could really enjoy it much more than I am. And then the last thing is I have 2 palettes here that I need to come to terms with and decide if I really do want them in my collection. It's just, I'm not decluttering for the sake of like decluttering. I'm decluttering because I really want that curated collection, and I still, even after decluttering, feel like I have an excess amount of makeup. But I want my eyeshadow palette collection especially to be palettes that I absolutely love. And not every palette is something that I would pan, but I want every palette to be something that I would pan, if that makes sense. Like I feel like for me, that's the only way like I'm really going to know that I can get like my money's worth out of these palettes. I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense to you. But anyway, This Tarte Sizzle palette, I really think I've just hung on to this so much for like the packaging. It's just really gorgeous. It's a mostly shimmer palette. There's like 2 matte shades in there, and it's a very like pink toned palette. I do really like Tarte and I like their formula. I think this is very pretty, but I couldn't tell you the last time that I like reached for this. So I need to come to terms with it and see, like, does this actually like have a place in my collection? Is this something that I want to keep and actually get, you know, really good use out of? And then the last palette we will talk about is this Violet Voss collaboration with Nicole Concilio. I had got this off of Haute Look because I wanted to try the Violet Voss like formula, but I didn't want to shell out the money for like a like full price palette, so I picked this up when it was available. So it's just a very like warm toned palette, and it doesn't really excite me. Like, I don't feel drawn to this, but there are like some shades in here that I really do like this this shade right here, Zozo. It's a really nice shimmer, and then down here on the bottom, this shade LA is a really pretty gold, and then this like interesting green shade, Palm Tree, is very pretty. So I want to take some time and like play around with this. Maybe what I might do is like depot some of the shades that I want to keep, put them in my Z palette, and then, you know, pass this along to someone who doesn't mind a few shades missing. But yeah, it doesn't excite me. Like, I don't tend to reach for it. I forget that it's in my collection just because it's kind of dull to me. But that was it. That was a very short, sweet, simple video. 2 palettes out, 2 palettes that we need to reckon with, and then, you know, I'm not gonna even say it because I'll just jinx myself. We're just gonna deal with these 2 palettes that we have right here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I, you know, will continue to film videos like this as I go through my makeup collection, and, you know, just yeah. I will catch you guys in the next video, and I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Okay, bye.